Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Stephanie Fonseca, and today we have a nice step-by-step tutorial for beginners. So if the thought of doing a full face of makeup kind of gives you anxiety, don't worry, I got you covered. So if you want to step-by-step sit down and do makeup with me as I teach you and walk you through every single step, just keep watching. Okay, so like the intro already stated, today we are going to be doing a full face for beginners with drugstore products or products that are on the cheaper side, but cheaper does not mean that it is of a lesser quality. Just wanted to make sure and clarify that, because many times people think and correlate cheaper with bad quality. But I'm going to give you guys my absolute favorite items from the drugstore or even the dollar store actually, where you can go ahead and as a beginner do a full beautiful face. So let's get started with that. First things first, and it is so incredibly important that you guys get a sunscreen. Now this sunscreen is Dear Claire's, and whoa, there we go. And this is an everyday sun protector. Now this I actually bought from YesStyle, so I will put all of the links to all of the items that I have or use here today down below. And this right here I bought it on YesStyle, and it actually is one of the best sunscreens that I have tried thus far. Now it doesn't leave a white cast, and on top of that it does not give me flashback. So we're gonna go ahead and put some on my hand. A little goes a long way, and I might have even put a lot, but if you put too much, put it down your neck. You need to protect your neck. So we're gonna go ahead and do this. Massage it, tap it, press it. Be gentle with your face, okay? And always in upwards motions. So after we have our sunscreen all set, we're gonna go ahead in with a primer, and this is the Poreless Putty primer by e.l.f. But I also have kind of fallen in love with the Ordinary high adherence silicone primer. So today we're gonna go in with the Poreless Putty primer, but they're both in the area of like $5 or $6, which is not bad at all. So this is what it looks like on the inside. We're gonna go ahead in with our nail and take some out. I think I put too much, but this primer actually like was everybody's rave because it's a so-called dupe for the Tatcha primer. So I'm going to put it on my nose and my T-zone. And then another place that I usually put it is on my cheeks, so that when I put my highlighter on, it looks flawless. And a little bit on the chin. Whatever left, we're going to pat in. I told you guys I put way too much. Jesus. Don't do as I do. You're gonna rub that in. Again, same way with your sunscreen, you're going to go upwards. And usually when you have poreless primers, you're going to always press in so that you kind of cover all of your pores. If that makes sense, kind of like a spackle. Okay, so once we have all of that done, we're then gonna go in with foundation. Now you can either go with a medium to high coverage foundation, or if it's not really your wave, you can go in with a tinted moisturizer. This one is by ColourPop. I like this. I used it for a while. I then discontinued using it because I saw that on occasions it would break me out, but that theory has not been confirmed nor denied. So I still agree with this. It just has coconut oil in it, so for all of those who have any allergies to that type of oil, keep that in mind. But today we're gonna go in with the Infallible by L'Oreal. Now remember, even if you do have a medium to high coverage foundation, you can always diffuse it out to where it's a light coverage. So I go ahead and put some on the back of my hand. 1.5 is good enough. And what I like to do is I like to take a stipple brush and stipple it out so that I'm not using too much product. So we're gonna take some of this, just simply stipple a little bit, and then, let me get my mirror, you're gonna just stamp it on your face like this. And this is gonna create kind of just a very light layer on your face. The reason as to why is if you don't want too much of that cakiness and you know, you don't have much to cover, you just go ahead and diffuse it out. Now, I also like using a stippling brush simply because it gives me the necessary or wanted coverage that I prefer. So for all of those who are usually starting off, if you do have any blemishes, I always suggest for you to like later go in with a concealer, or if you have TikTok, or if you even have Instagram, go check out this girl right here. Her name is Michaela, and what she put out is revolutionary. So go ahead and check her out. And for those who have a little bit more blemishes and a little bit more problem areas, her version and her way is stupendous. So continuing, we're gonna go ahead and continue stippling this in. I go very light on my nose simply because we're later gonna go in with concealer and we're later gonna go in with contour. So remember, this is a basic like face, but done the correct way, you can even do this for, you know, a night out, so on and so forth. Now keep in mind, this is for beginners, so I'm going to give you the basics of everything. So let's continue. Now always remember to also bring it down your neck. Okay, so now that we have all of that set and done, so now that we have our foundation all laid down, we can now go in and contour. So I have the Physicians formula, and this is honestly a really good dupe for the Fenty Beauty Matchstick. And then if you don't want to kind of dish out $10, you can dish out $4 for the LA Girl Pro Concealer, but this shade is very good for contouring. Also, the applicator brush makes it so that you don't need to go ahead and grab another applicator or another brush to kind of apply that on. But today, I prefer the Physicians formula, so we're gonna go ahead in with that. And if you guys want or are wondering where I get all my brushes from, so on and so forth, you can check this video right here or the description box below, because I found a 24 pack of just essential brushes from Shop Miss A, and the whole entire brush set comes out to around $20, and their beauty blenders are like $1 or $1.50 depending on which one. So I'll leave all of that down below, but if you don't want to spend a pretty penny on good quality brushes, definitely check them out for that. Okay, so with that, we're gonna go ahead and grab this and contour. Now, contour are the lines down the nose to where you want shadows to be. So I want shadows to be right here, and I want to make my nose look smaller. So I'm gonna grab right here at the bottom, and I'm going to follow the side of my nose, but kind of bring it in a little bit. Like this. I know, it looks crazy, don't worry. Now, this is what works for my nose and my face shape. for a very long time, I tried to copy what other people did, but I say play with it, try it out, spend some time, and see what works for your face shape and for your features, because we're all different. So I can't take something for somebody who has a little button nose because it's not gonna work for me. So keep that in mind. And now let's get into the forehead. I just do it very lightly and then we blend it in. Now, this brush is actually from e.l.f. and it has been through the ringer, but it is, I believe, like $2 or $3. So this is also very much in budget. But with this, we're gonna go ahead and buff that all in. Now with this, where you put it, you wanna buff it upwards and in circular motion. So you kind of just buff it in and flick it up. Now, as for right here, you're gonna buff this into your brow bone. And then buff this down the side of your nose. Do not worry about anything, because as you buff it out, you're later gonna go in with concealer, so don't worry. And there we have that. So next up, we're gonna go in with concealer, and to be quite honest, my favorite concealer is actually $5.99, and it is by Catrice. Now, I haven't used it in a minute because quarantine, but if you go ahead and pull it out, this is what the doe foot looks like. And I will show you guys how to put your concealer. So you're going to put a couple right here. You don't want to overpower it. You don't need too much. A little bit right here and a little bit right here. I like a little bit right here simply because I have smile lines. Mold. Right here, a little, how my sister says it, a little palm tree at the top, and a direct line up your nose. Again, this is the highlight contour that I do for my face shape, so obviously take this as a grain of salt or sand, however it is. They're both small, but take this as a grain of salt. I like to put my concealer right here simply because I'm gonna drag that out to a point where it's going to help and accentuate my contour, aka chisel my face. So then we're gonna go in with the Shop Miss A Beauty Blender, and we're gonna buff this out. Okay, something I also forgot to mention is you're gonna wanna go ahead and dampen your Beauty Blender. Now, by dampen, you're gonna run it through water, squeeze it out, and sometimes I even put it on my towel just to take out the excess water, and then I go ahead and I buff everything out. Now, this is what you should look like by right now. If you need to use a little bit more concealer, go ahead, use a little bit. But one tip, it's always better for you to put a little bit and then build instead of putting too much, and then you just have to like deal with it. So once we have all of that done, we're now gonna go into powder. And this is my trusty handy dandy Coty Airspun powder. I like naturally neutral simply because it helps offset any darkness under my eyes. I didn't really like the translucent one because to me it's just too much yellow. So we're gonna go ahead and open it a little bit, and it looks like this. It is highly scented. So if fragrance bothers you, try the Maybelline loose Fit Me powder. I've heard great things about it. I just personally have never used it, so I can't give you guys my honest opinion on it, but I've only heard good things. Now, I got another beauty blender from Shop Miss A, and this one kind of has a cut, so I like to use this for any like sharpening or chiseling when setting my face. I also use the back side just to get rid of any creases underneath my eye before going ahead and setting my under eye. So then I'm just gonna press and stamp that very lightly and slightly. And then I also take this side right here, and I like to bring this down my nose and chisel this on my cheeks. The reason as for why is because I like how this just seals everything in. I have an oily to combination skin type, so I need to kind of set my face in order to not look like a greasy mess at the end of the day. So that's my problem. Okay, so then once we do that, same thing on the other eye. And then a little bit right here on the forehead. I like using these sides simply because I'll be able to like make perfect lines as well. Now, I know a lot of people are against baking. I personally like it, and that is simply because I am very oily. So if you are on the drier side, I would then recommend using a brush kind of like this so that you can just very lightly start swiping right underneath your eye. Now with everything, be gentle with your face. Don't be like pressing into it or like going like this, because you're going to misplace all of the makeup that you have on your face. So that's another tidbit and point. So we're going to just very lightly swipe this everywhere. Okay, so now that we have that, we're then going to go ahead and bronze and kind of sharpen up our nose. I simply like it because it's my preference to my face type. A lot of people are blessed with a nose that they love, and and I'm too scared to go under the knife. So with this, I like to kind of chisel it out. If you also want to go ahead and contour your nose, I just say use a light hand. Again, on that whole concept of use a little bit and build so that you don't have to fix it up in the end. So I'm gonna go in with a kind of angled brush. The reason being is because it just gets the line perfectly. So we're gonna go in with the Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula. Absolutely love this. Sometimes even better than my high-end makeup. So we're gonna go ahead, tap into it ever so slightly. Another tip, tap it off. You saw that excess that came off. So now you don't have to worry about a muddy contour. So again, same thing that you did with your contour, you're gonna just get it right here at the base of the eye, right here too, and just follow the shape that you desire. I like to bring it in a little bit more simply because that is my preference. Play with it. The best thing that you can do is do a couple rounds where you just test it out and see what type of contour fits best with your face. Then later, we're going to take a fanned out brush. This right here, Katie Hodges, I'll link her up right here. She completely changed my world when she taught me this. So you're gonna grab this brush. You're just gonna go back and forth, just back and forth. Do a little kissy face and go back and forth as such. And you get the perfect bronzy glow. Now you're not gonna go down here. You're gonna do a little bit higher just so that you catch the shadows of your face. And then I grab a little bit at the side and we're gonna go ahead and do our forehead. So next we have blush, and we're gonna go into this Wet n Wild. This is in the shade Pearlescent Pink, as you can see right there. Now this, super cheap. Wet n Wild, you cannot really miss with them simply because they are on the cheaper side, but they are also high on the quality side. Honestly, a lot of it, and a lot of makeup honestly, is your own preference. So I can tell you to wear a bunch of things, but it could also just mean that it works with my skin. So go ahead, test it, and remember, you always have a return policy. It's your best friend. If it doesn't work for you, don't waste that money. You can return it, especially if you buy it from Ulta. Reason being that I'm saying this is because a lot of people buy it, never use it again, and just spent $9 to $10 that you could have used on Chipotle. Let's be honest. So we're gonna go in with this pinky shade. I really like it. I know that this I have to have a heavier hand with, but we're still tapping it off. And this, how I like to do this is I like to just smile a little bit and go on the apples of my cheeks. Like that. Again, you're gonna go up because you want to lift your face. Some people like putting on their nose. That's not me. Next up, we have eyes. Now, today we're not gonna go in and do like a bronzy look. We're not gonna do anything. This is just a basic face. So, one thing that I will say is I can go ahead and recommend this palette by ColourPop. I believe it's about $12 to $18, and you have all the shades that you really need. You have a neutral brown, you have a skin tone, and then you have glitters. So if you are just starting off, I think this is a perfect palette for you. So next we have lashes. Now, if you want to learn how to put falsies, I'll put that link in the description box below. But today we're just gonna do a basic look. Now, one thing that I can go ahead and offer as my advice is if you are starting off and you need a basic palette, this one from ColourPop is between $12 to $18, and it honestly has all of the shades that you would need. You have a more like reddy look, or like reddish orange look. You have your brown, neutral, you have your little mauvish shade, and then you have your basic like transition shades as well as your glitters. So this for me is just like an 10 out of 10 for anybody who is starting off. So if you are interested in a look with this palette, go ahead and leave a like and a comment down below and I'll make it happen for you guys. So on to eyes. We're gonna go ahead with my trusty duo. Now, this is not drugstore, but it is $12, which is basically the same price as a drugstore mascara. So we're gonna first go in with the Voluminous Primer by L'Oreal and prime our eyelashes. Now, I was never somebody to actually be a fan of this, but I became one. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Do the lower lash as well. So once you coated your lashes once, that's all that's necessary. You're gonna go ahead and go in with your Milk Makeup Kush Mascara. Now, this right here, it's my baby. I saw, weirdly enough, improved lash growth. So when I say that I've gone through probably 4 of these already, I went through probably 4 of these already. And the reason being that I get the smaller version is because I don't really go through mascara to the point where I'm going to use everything up in the big one. And I also like, weirdly enough, the brush on the small ones. I'm weird, but I'm very meticulous with my eyelashes. So yeah, but this is what the brush applicator looks like. And just coat your lashes. Now, for anybody who does not like clumpy lashes, as myself, if you buy the 24 pack from AOA Studio, like I mentioned before, you will get a spoolie and you can just go ahead and just ever so slightly zhuzh it between your eyelashes and it gets rid of all the clumps. So there's a tip. Now, so something that I've also learned that with anybody who's starting off in makeup, sometimes it's really scary to put this to your eye. So what I say is a foolproof way to apply mascara is literally just leave it right here and just start blinking and like pushing it through. And that's it. Like honestly, like whenever I'm doing makeup on other people, I just tell them blink. So you don't end up puncturing your eye and you don't end up having mascara in your eye. Those are not fun at all. But that's also my other tidbit on that. Next up, we have eyebrows. Now, I do have a video, and I'll link that down below, of how I do my eyebrows. But if you want a cheaper alternative to the Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow duo, always go ahead with e.l.f. e.l.f. is going to be your handy dandy trusty ride or die, honestly. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna grab a very thin angled brush. Now you're gonna go into the powder right here, tap a little bit of it off, and you're gonna go ahead and follow the projection of your eyebrow. Now I start off by just doing light brush strokes to kind of imitate hair. So we're gonna just do it ever so slightly. And follow your eyebrow. So I like to use the powder simply because my eyebrow lady has told me that a lot of the time any wax or oils or any liquid that you put on your eyebrows can cause your brow hairs to fall out. And so ever since she told me that, I try to minimize as much of like these like brow pomades I use. I only go ahead and use this NYX brow pomade because it's waterproof. So if I'm going to the beach and I just want to zhuzh up my brows, I use a little bit, but I rarely use this, and I use it very seldomly. But putting this to the side, up next, if you know me, you know I love highlighter. Now, if you know me, you know I love a highlighter. So we have a $1 highlighter from AOA Studios that honestly is absolutely amazing and gorgeous. And then we have the Master Chrome by Maybelline. Now this one right here, you can grab it at the nearest drugstore and you will be fine. This one right here you have to order, but they are both beautiful. So we're gonna go ahead with the Master Chrome, but if you don't want to splurge too much, you can always go in and get the AOA Studio one. But I'm gonna grab my highlighting brush from AOA Studio. I'm gonna dip right into that like this, and you're going to put it again. I go ahead and I smile and I just put it right here so that I can hit the cheekbone, because this is where I want light to hit my face. Now I also go ahead and hit the tip of my nose. I then go in with my e.l.f. eyeshadow brush. This has also been through the ringer, but I absolutely love this for my nose highlight. So I'm gonna dip into this like this and then tap a little bit, and I'm going to just draw a straight line down my nose. So once we have that, I always say finish off with a setting spray. Now the ones from Morphe you can find at Ulta. They have a continuous setting spray, they have the mattifying continuous setting spray, and then they have the hydrating setting spray. I absolutely love the mattifying because I am oily. So you're gonna grab this and spray all over your face. And this smells like, honestly, watermelon. So sometimes what I like to do is right after I put my setting spray, I like to just tap this in, just so that I set the setting spray into my face. Now lastly, lips. Now you can either go with Carmex because it gives you this nice gloss and it helps medicate your lips, or you can always go in with this e.l.f. lip plumping gloss, and it's so gorgeous, just the shade, and this is what the doe foot applicator looks like. We're gonna go in with it. So I absolutely love this because it's lip plumping, but I also love how sheer the color is. So this is, I wanna say like $6. Yeah, so it's like, so I went ahead and put my hair down, and there we have our final and completed beginner tutorial. So I hope this helped you guys so much, and big shout out to my little sister who gave me the idea for this because she likes makeup. However, obviously for everybody who's starting off, it is very overwhelming. What comes first? What comes next? So on and so forth. So she gave me this idea, and now that she is 500 miles away from me, I hope this tutorial helped you, Vicky. And I just want to let you know that I love you, I'm proud of you, and I love that you are chasing your dreams. And before I get mushy and teary-eyed, Thank you guys so much for watching. Do not forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell so you can get notifications on when I post. Every Friday I post makeup or beauty videos, and on Mondays I post my sport videos. So with all of that, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.